Yes. Good morning, Beena. Good morning. Good morning. So
I
I
hope
want to
you are doing
get
well.
brain going. Yes, I'm very well. Yes, slept well. Just happy that, sleep has changed. There we go. A bit difficult. Don't be difficult. Grain was being a bit difficult.
Okay. Uh,
There we go.
okay, so today's your internet connection is a bit chopping off, and our screen is still blurred, but okay, it will get better soon. This is
Right.
I'm just using this as an analogy here. Uh, it gets into it happens with our life also. Sometimes things are not very clear. Things are not very smooth. Communication gets a bit muffled, a bit uh, clumsy. Okay, and we do get clumsy with our communication many times actually, more than rarely it happens with us that we assume that we have communicated our things and our thoughts and our perspectives clearly, but mostly when we go through that again, it is mostly in our mind, and what we actually communicated is way much lesser than what we really need to and what we assume we did. And sometimes we are not getting clarity. Like right now I'm not having a clear screen, it's a bit blur. I have some sort of idea, but because of course my experiences, and because of the memories of those experiences, I do get a bit of freedom to assume things. Like I cannot see much clearly, but I know that okay, it is clear. I know that okay, I'm assuming these are trees. Okay, I can somehow understand that, but I'm just assuming that it's beautiful and it's lush green, and it's of course it's very beautiful and a very creatively captured picture. And I see that okay, yes, your features, okay, it's not very clear, but because of my memory, because of my experience, and because of my memory of those experiences, I assume that you are smiling and you are all cheerful. Yes. Hello,
Yes,
Norma.
I'm smiling at cheerful. Yeah, I want to say hello to Norma. Yes, keep going, Beena. Hello, Norma.
Yes.
Hello, hello. Glad you're here, Norma. We missed you. You haven't been here for a while,
Yes.
so
Yes.
glad you're back. Yes, wonderful.
Yes.
So
And this
good.
is what we do in normally in our life also. Uh, that we assume things. Sometimes it is appropriate to do that because when you have enough data of information, you based on your assumptions on that data and say, okay, yes, because I know, because my experience is telling me that okay, mostly this is how things are. Mostly this is what these things look like, or how these people are. I am just taking a liberty to assume that, but it has to be deliberate, and that is the problem because more generally it is not deliberate, and we assume things, and we don't get in like really precise in our assumptions that okay, how much we can assume. This is where your your attunement, because this is where you need to follow and be really observant of your circumstances and situation, current circumstances and situations, and other people's mood and other things. Unfortunately, we ignore them sometimes. Sometimes it is like, okay, yes, I know that. Yes, you know what it was in the past, not right now. People do get a change, of course. Things and circumstances also get change, and we need to give this margin also. What I'm trying to share is that assumptions are not a bad thing. Sometimes we need them. We need to assume few
Exactly.
things in our life,
Exactly.
but
Exactly.
we cannot be like really rigid into that okay, because I know in the past, so I'm saying that, and it has to be this. No,
Right.
it is an assumption we need to be aware of, and then this awareness of assumptions being assumption needs to be in the forefront of our consciousness whenever we are doing this.
Yeah.
This is what deliberate living is, because it prevents a lot of confusion, it prevents a lot of assumption, and on top of that, it prevents an ego nonsense. It prevents ego
Yes.
nonsense. I know it, I understand that. Yes, you understand mostly. Yes, you understand. You are aware of it. But of course, every moment, every single day is unique and new, and you need to be open to moreness and newness. Okay, this was my thought of the day. We can go right away to the reading of capital R reading of Musashi's Book of Five Ring, and we are reading now chapter the book, the Wind Book. This is what we are reading. Capital R reading is a process where we go beyond just reading the book and the content. It is, of course, we do discuss a lot of things, and of course, our perspectives and our takeaways, and also Syl always provide us the context, historical, psychological, political, social, and spiritual context also. At that time where when Musashi was writing or living at least, what was the mindset, what was the superiority paradigm level they were living in. And it helps a lot to understand that even though he is writing only about sword fencing and sword fighting, but what the intent behind that was to share moreness with everyone, because this was a complete no-no. At least this is my understanding, that it was not common. If it is what not completely no-no, but it was just like, okay, yes, it was not common to share the knowledge and wisdom with everyone because of the
Right.
superiority paradigm they had, that culture. So it was
Yep.
limited
Yep.
and isolated to the privileged sect of societies at the time. So
Yeah.
now I really feel that that intent was really good. And this is the magic of capital R reading, that we do pay attention to the intent of sharing.
It's important. Yes. It is absolutely critical. And when we have the capital S sharing, the intent is to share purely, and not to share for some reward or share to get a reciprocation. No, it's just to share. That's it, for the pure joy of it, the sheer magic of it, and the wonder of it, and the excellence of it. And it's free. Free sharing has to be free. All right. I'm hearing a whole bunch of notification sounds here. Let's see. Let's see what's happening. Okay. 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 Very good. We'll see in a second. All right. Doing the live. So come join us. Come join us. Brilliant. Brilliant. All right. Let's see on Instagram before we get going. Nothing there. And yeah, chats, screen share. There we go. And yeah, use of attitudes of the long sword in other schools. Now, I abbreviated the title if you look above us, right? Use of attitudes in other schools. I took out of the long sword because this applies, you could say, way of impeccability is much like uh, Musashi's Ichi school, in this that it's not specifically in a particular way or form. It's not the usual convention. Yeah. And it's not really a style. It's the style of no style, right? In martial arts, more recently, Jeet Kune Do or Jeet Kune Do. That was, maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong, but was Bruce Lee's school, right? That was really the school of no style. That was a
Mm.
style of no style. That was Bruce Lee. Because it's about appropriateness. Bruce Lee sort of started this idea that you can't have specific styles. He didn't quite get into the full mixed martial arts idea, but it's there. Again, it's just appropriateness. If something is working and somebody else's go, incorporate it into your school. That's it. Use everything, know everything. Yeah. And likewise, now in Way of Impeccability and the Moreness-Project, it's not about learning specific things in that sense. Like, wow, you could say many programs are about, right, dealing with grief, dealing with anger, dealing with shame and guilt, trauma recovery, etc. Right? More specific. This is about self-improvement. Now, self-improvement could likewise be about specific things that you want to deal with. Again, You could look at anger as anger management, or you could say, well, not really an angry person, but all right, maybe patience is a better one. I'm not really impatient, but I could learn to truly be patient. Okay, but that's, mostly you're dealing with these specific issues, right? However, in Way of Impeccability, we're dealing with the tools that enable us to learn and grow, the tools that enable us to be aware, the tools that enable us to manage and utilize and leverage our thinking, our emotions, our feelings, our way of being, our mindset, our attitude, our perspective. So, Way of Impeccability is coming at the overallness of it. And in this sense, we are looking at it from a strategic point of view. If I wish to change self improvement, self awareness, enhancing my awareness, general awareness, any of those, what are the tools and mechanisms involved in order to do so? Once I understand those, if I understand the tools for learning, then now, of course, impeccability leads to all of that. And then part of impeccability is attunement and awareness, all of these things. And they're all tools, very profound, abstract overview tools that allow you to essentially do anything. Yes, and they enhance whatever you are doing. Doesn't matter. Just take, for instance, any job you do. This applies across the board to any job, not just sales or marketing or whatever. Typically many self-improvement programs, unfortunately, have been confused with money-making programs or career advancement. Very narrow. It's not completely confused. Like some people come into this group and they expect to start posting on how to make more money. I had to make a rule to say no money making posts, please, because of this confusion. To make more money doesn't improve yourself. It just means you're making more money. You can still be the knucklehead that you were before and the complete fool that you were before, and not nice person that you were before. You didn't improve yourself one bit. You just improved your ability to make money. It's a confusion there, right? Because this idea that making money is what it's all about. Superiority paradigm idea. It's absolutely terrible. Anyway, isn't that amazing? Just amazing. Um, Now, when we understand what true self-improvement is and the tools to do so, now it's profound. Of course, when you have these tools, you can decide what you need to work on. I need to work on my patience. Do I need to work on my tolerance? Do I whatever? And you can do so, right? As appropriate. It's going to the end of it. And this is really, really powerful. So compared to other schools, this is very different. Not only in the fact that there's this other schools of learning. Well, I'm just saying other schools here, other programs, really, right? Uh, well, any school of learning, same thing. Because hello, Norma, hello, Amron, brilliant. Um, Now, what else is different? The actual mechanism of learning. Yes. In Way of Impeccability, Moreness-Project, Moreness-Culture, learning is about application, right, Beena?
Yes.
Without application, it's all meaningless. How do we do this? In the online setting, yes, obviously you're going to go out and apply this in your daily life, but there's an application that comes before that, the to put the thing into you. Yeah, you do it via repeat backs, via takeaways, via tasks and exercises. Right? This is very powerful stuff. And just those repeat backs and takeaways, they change everything. Which a repeat back and a takeaway, you could almost say it's a capital R reading of yourself, of what the information that is presented in the program, right? And you're doing that, especially in the takeaway, but you're making it very personal. Yeah? You're looking at for the layers, you're looking for the depth. And you're also looking to make it your own. This is crucial. If you don't make it your own, forget it. Then you're just believing me. Don't believe me. You've got to make it. It must make sense to you. You've got to get your inner bureaucrats to sign off on this new ability, this new mindset, this new skill, this new attitude, new perspective, new understanding, new discernment. You've got to sign off on it. It has to be yours. If it's not yours, you'll never get to really use it very well. Yeah? Then you live in somebody else's life, not yours. We have to make it our own, right? That's it. It's like when you're riding a bicycle, you get on there. I'm riding the bicycle. I'm not doing it according to what your idea. You're not riding it. I'm riding it. I've owned the skill. I know how to ride the bike. It doesn't matter that you told me how to do it, whatever. No, I'm riding it. I've made it my own. Now it's me riding the bicycle. I know how to ride a bicycle. Right? You don't say, I know how to ride a bicycle according to how Syl said you must ride a bicycle. You don't say things like that because once you've done it, you own the skill. It's yours. You know how to ride a bicycle. You've acquired the skill. Very powerful. Very, very, very powerful. Yes, makes sense. Beena?
Yes, yes,
All right. So I
absolutely.
just want to say that the difference between what we are doing here in Moreness-Culture, Moreness-Project, Way-of-Impeccability, everything that we're doing, and I want to make this a part of Moreness-Culture. Part of Moreness-Culture to me is the Moreness of learning, which is the Moreness of learning is not memorization. It's sometimes a part of it, yes, but it's only a tiny small part. When you make it your own, I don't have to remember. Once I know that skill of riding the bicycle, I don't have to remember the instructions anymore, if there ever were any. I have instructions for riding a bicycle. It's part of moreness. It's part of understanding. People think riding a bicycle is balancing. And you can watch parents, they hover behind the children with their hand there behind the saddle to grab it in case they because and the expectation of the child thinks I have to learn to balance to ride a bicycle. No, the wheels will balance themselves because of the gyroscopic effect. They spin past a certain point, they start to balance themselves. In other words, if you want to ride a bicycle, get up to minimum speed. It's not very fast. That's it. And then the bicycle balances itself. If you teach your kids this, wow, okay, wow. And they're now also discovering a bit of science. And that science can be very magical. The gyroscopic effect is a truly magical thing. Why? Why should a spinning wheel make itself make the axle horizontal and thus the wheel vertical? Why? Why would this be something that automatic magic? Magic. There seems to me an only good reason for it is so that we can ride bicycles and motorbikes and scooters and things like this. It's fantastic. It's just too brilliant, right? It's a wonderful thing, and also you use it for gyroscopes. That's why it's called the gyroscopic effect, which is on ships, right? The ship is always moving, and you need to keep something level. They use that spinning, and then so yeah, just wonderful ways of using this kind of stuff. Aerodynamic effect, likewise, a magical effect. Induction, magical. Why should moving a magnet inside a coil induce electricity into it? Absolutely no logical reason for it. It does. So I'm trying to make a bigger point about understanding things from overview perspective. When we have this different overview perspective, we understand learning is different. We understand tools like thinking it through to the end, perspective shifting to multiple perspectives, etc. We are now empowered. We are now empowered. We can do anything. Yes, because we have the tools of learning. It's step one, right? Tools of learning. Very, very powerful. All right, so that's what makes us different. We don't learn specifics, we learn the abstract. We learn how to learn. We learn things like strategy. We learn things like abstract understanding, overview perspective, etc. All overview from the top down, right? Not from the bottom up. Our learning has been premised from the bottom down. You learn the specific things and then a bit more. You learn the individual alphabet, A, B, C, then the words. You don't have to learn language that way, by the way. It isn't a bad way to learn language. It does work, but you don't have to learn language that way. When you go and learn a foreign language, and look at the language courses, they don't teach you the alphabet. You learn the words right away. You even learn phrases and sentences, and then you work backwards from there, and eventually you learn the grammar and the spelling. Really interesting. All right. Anyway, will you read, please, Beena?
Actually, that was my thought of the day that I cannot see that it was blurred and it
Oh,
was shocking.
oh.
So, yes.
Is it clear now or not clear
No,
yet?
no, not yet, not entirely. It was causing me problem yesterday also. I was
Oh,
really
okay. I
struck.
I maybe my internet. Let's see here which internet it's on. Yeah, I'm on the best one.
Yes, it is my side. So. Oh, I was waiting for that, and I think that your internet connection is dropped. Okay. In the meantime, while Cell is coming back, he will come back soon. But see that again, it was I was sharing with Cell that okay, it is like this for me. Like my internet connection is not stable, and I'm having a blurred vision. And I was thinking about that how we have these type of situation. I was just using it as an analogy, as an example here, that in life, in communication, especially in communication with people now again, especially online communication, when we assume that we have given enough details. The problem with online communication is that the other person is not in the premises. They cannot understand completely. Of course, whatever you are showing via your camera and whatever you are sharing with your words, uh, that's the only thing they know. They don't know the whole story. They don't know the whole context of things happening sometimes. And that is the problem. We assume that they do understand. They do, of course, they do try to understand as best as they can, but it is almost impossible for anyone like me. If you are my friends are trying to share something with them with me, and they are online friends, I don't know the context even if they are telling you. So it can be a bit stressful to go into really, really minute details when sharing and be really thorough in communication. And that's why we get a bit sloppy that, okay, yes, we assume that, okay, they will understand. They do
Ah,
understand, but exactly as and how much we shared with them. This is the situation. So communication is a haphazard business, as Sil always say that, and we need to always keep margin of miscommunication and being sloppy in our communication, and of course give margin to other people to be human also. Why I'm not saying here, but be human, giving a margin to be human is in any derogatory way, because this is also one of my friends said that. What do you mean by giving margin to be human? Because we do have limitations. That's why I'm saying that it's not in any derogatory sense that giving a margin to be human. We do have
being
limitations. Like
real.
I need to rely on devices to see that person. I cannot see anyone from here right now to someone who is living in Australia. I cannot see them. I cannot touch them. I cannot feel them. So these are the limitations, and
Yeah.
also that I have to rely on their perspective only. So that's why I say that okay, give people a margin to be human, and also that where we have limitations in general also. So we always enjoy the privilege of being human. That oh yes, okay, we are human, we are privileged species. But we also need to understand that we are limited in many ways, and we need to give margin to each other of to be human, which means that we are limited. That's it. Okay, so thanks and for coming back, and I'm glad. So please continue.
Yes.
I
Can you
was just
read?
filling
Is it?
in. I was just filling in. No, it is my side, so
No.
it is yours.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. Use of attitudes of the katana in other schools. I'm going to read longsword as katana as poor translation, right?
Okay.
It's katana. Right. I mean, that's what he's talking about. He's not talking about a broadsword, a long medieval sword. He's talking about a katana specifically. And not even the very long katana, which is on Adachi. No, katana specifically, right? And this, it should really be katana because katana has its own magic and it's a whole special, wonderful thing, right? It's a very particular usage. So, poor translation. Placing a great deal of importance on the attitudes of the katana is a mistaken way of thinking. What is known in the world as attitude applies when there is no enemy. The reason is that this has been a precedent since ancient times, and there should be no such things as this is the modern way to do it in dueling. You must force the enemy into inconvenient situations. Attitudes are for situations in which you are not to be moved. Now, we think of attitude as being aggressive, passive, friendly, whatever. But it's not quite that meaning in the way Musashi is using it. Attitudes here is angles. yes, approaches more. And well, also he does use it from a mood point of view, an energy point of view, but then he typically says spirit. So when he's talking about attitude, it's more physical rather than the attitude that we know of. But it somewhat overlaps, right? So as he says, attitudes offer situations in which you are not to be moved, right? So find a different angle. So you could almost say that attitude here is like perspective. Yeah, it does involve a little bit, but typically when he's talking about what we think of attitude, he means spirit. That is for garrisons, castles, battle array, and so on, showing the spirit of not being moved even by a strong assault. You see, so yeah, he's using attitude and spirit somewhat interchangeably. Yeah? Just be aware that for Musashi, attitude includes the specific angle, like he had it early in the book: high attitude, low attitude, left and right. Four attitudes. Yeah, there's four angles there. In the way of dueling, however, you must always be intent on taking the lead and attack. Attitude is the spirit of awaiting an attack. You must appreciate this. Interesting. Be prepared. Be prepared, in other words. Yes. Have the attitude of preparedness, readiness, anticipation. For me, anticipation goes beyond preparedness, way beyond. I can be prepared. I've done my homework. I've practiced research, but I'm not anticipating what's about to come next potentially. My time sense might be in reaction mode. Yes, but if I'm anticipating, and the moment that starts, like we said earlier, you want to catch it at the start of this movement, and you already react. You speed up your time perception. You speed up your reactions as a result. If you slow down time, likewise, your reactions speed up. Actions speed up. Very powerful. In duels of strategy, you must move the opponent's attitude. Let me just repeat there what I said. I said something that isn't very obvious. And somebody may be listening and saying, whoa, 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 did I just hear Syl right? Yeah, you did hear me right. I said, if you slow down your time sense, your physical movements, your reaction time increases. There's a limit, of course, but so it usually is. The two are interrelated. Think about it a little bit. Yeah, it's very interesting how that works. Yeah, and go and test it, practice it now to develop the ability to slow down our time perception. This is not something that we can do willingly. Usually, it usually happens like in high stress situations. Someone says, "Oh, you know what? Time slowed down. When I was in the accident, I could feel it in slow motion." Yes, but things are happening very fast in your body, physically, right? And it has to be in order for the time to match. Right? Otherwise, you're going to have a gap in your time afterwards. Just think it through, and you'll see it works out when you start to pay attention. In duels of strategy, you must move the opponent's attitude. You must change his location, his physicality. If he's in an awkward position, you move him under a tree, and he raises his sword for an overhead cut, and it bangs into the branch. Well, he can't do it. And in that moment of him banging, he's discombobulated. So on, right? So it's all strategy. Attack where his spirit is lax. Throw him into confusion, irritate and terrify him. Take advantage of the enemy's rhythm when he's unsettled, and you can win. How can we apply this positively? Right? Let's say negotiations. I don't want to discombobulate you, but I do want to take advantage of your attitude. What attitude is that? I want to take advantage of your goodness. I want to take advantage of your desire to collaborate, your desire to compromise, your desire to come to a an agreement that both are happy with. See? Instead of using this negatively from a dominant superiority paradigm point of view, let's use it positively from a Moreness-Culture point of view. Yeah? Makes sense, Beena? You know? So I just used philosophy of opposite right there. Right? Let's put it in the complete opposite. Go from superiority paradigm It's not diametrically opposite, but it's so far away that it may as well be, or it's close to, and we go to moreness, right? I dislike the defensive spirit known as attitude. And now, attitude has a whole new meaning here. Therefore, in my way, there is something called attitude, no attitude. Attitude of no attitude. It would be a better translation, right? Attitude of no attitude. In large-scale strategy, we deploy our troops for battle, bearing in mind our strength, observing the enemy's numbers and noting the details of the battlefield. This is at the start of the battle. The spirit of attacking first is completely different from the spirit of being attacked. Bearing an attack well with a strong attitude and parrying the enemy's attack well is like making a wall of spears and halberds. When you attack the enemy, your spirit must go to the extent of pulling the stakes out. Pulling the stakes out of a wall, and using them as spears and halberds. You must examine this well. Be flexible, be fluid, be adaptive, be appropriate, anticipate. These are the abstract understandings that are coming from this. Right? And all of this again, learn to be appropriate, learn to understand what appropriateness means, learn to understand what it means. How can you determine what is appropriate? You determine it by looking at your context and you look at your goal. Your goal is to attack, your goal is to defeat, your goal is to win the battle, the goal is to scare off the enemy, whatever. All of those have different appropriate actions in the particular context. Yes. And of course, if you're not in a context where you're facing the enemy is far away, your actions are different. Football was a court game in ancient Japan. Wow, that's very interesting. Where is this reference to footballers here? Yeah. Yeah. It's coming. All right. Fixing the eyes in other schools. Some schools maintain that the eyes should be fixed on the enemy's katana. Some schools fix the eyes on the hands. Some fix the eyes on the face. And some fix the eyes on the feet and so on. If you fix the eyes on those places, the spirit will become confused and your strategy will. I will explain this in detail. Footballers do not fix their eyes on the ball, but by good play on the field, they can perform well. When you become accustomed to something, you are not limited to the use of your eyes. People such as master musicians have the music score in front of their nose or flourish swords in several ways when they have mastered the way. But this does not mean that they fix their eyes on those things specifically, or that they make pointless movements of the sword. It means that they can see naturally. In the way of strategy, you must have fought many times. When you have fought many times, you will easily be able to appraise the speed and position of the enemy's sword. And having mastery of the way, you will see the way to his spirit. In strategy, fixing the eyes means gazing at the man's heart. Beena, now what would you think in Way of Impeccability this gazing at a person's heart would mean? How would we say it in Way of Impeccability?
It is to, of course, having trust in their good intent or intent to goodness, in other words. That is the first thing. And
That's
when
it.
we do
That's
that, of
paying
course,
attention to their intent. When you see, when
yes,
you gaze into their heart, that's the phrase would be to perceive their intent. That's what he means,
yes,
yeah? Right.
yes,
And now when we take this, right, to gaze into a man's heart and to gaze at to perceive someone's intent, there is a difference between the two. And the difference is very small but also huge at the same time, right? Because if I see in your heart, I see you're a good person. Just because I see you're a good person, yes, this is Moreness-Culture. We do this as a practice to gaze deep into your heart to see that goodness and then operate from there. But at the same time, you can have goodness, but you could have a particular intent right now. Your intent is to relax, your intent is to chill, your intent is to focus on something, your intent is to emphasize, whatever. Right? So me seeing your heart doesn't necessarily reveal your intent. But seeing your intent, that's doesn't matter what your heart is. Your intent is what matters at the moment. Yeah. Now I can look at your overall life intent, yes. Then I will see your heart. Yeah. but your intent in the moment. This I need to know, not only in sword fighting, but in any type of an interaction. Yes. And we can sometimes get into arguments because we misunderstand an intent. Yeah? So if we know the person is good, or somebody could come, I mean, I'm talking about arguments with people that you love and know and trust and think are good, right? Inevitably, when there's some problem, it's because there's a misunderstanding of intent. So this absolutely changes everything. And Secret Service agents do this. Again, they don't use the word, but when they're standing around and there's a whole crowd of people, they say, well, how can they be watching everybody to protect whoever the president or whoever? Because they scan that crowd, and what they are actually doing is looking for adverse, anomalous, out of context intent. They are looking at the overall and see the bigger. If you spot somebody and they have an intent that isn't the intent of being just a fan, observer, reporter, whatever, you can see it. You can see it if you've developed the skills. Not a hard skill to see, to learn, because we have the skill of perceiving intent. It's how we stayed alive out in the jungle or in the bush, all of those millennia, right? We have this innate skill. It's an incredible thing, but to know it consciously and to think of it consciously, it's a much, much more powerful thing, because we've sort of forgotten this use because we're not in danger anymore. But it's not the only time we can use it, right? We don't have to be in a sword fight. It can be in any type of an interaction. You start paying attention to someone's intent in your personal interactions, it's going to enhance everything profoundly. Perceive, perceive I am back again. Brilliant. I do perceive that, Norma. I perceive so by implication, because if you weren't here, you wouldn't be able to type. Yeah. Right? So, by virtue of your comment, I perceive the accuracy of my implication. Another powerful tool, implication. Right? Any more on this, Beena, before I continue?
No, it's wonderful, sir, what you are sharing. So please continue. Please.
If you can read, please read. My mouth
I
is
will, I
very
will, I
dry.
will tell you. Yes, I will tell
Okay.
you immediately.
In large-scale strategy, the area to watch is the enemy's strength. Now, now, when he talks here strength, I mean, he's probably going to elaborate. Perception and sight are the two methods of seeing, but I don't think he means strength in the way that you might imagine, right? To see the enemy's strength. Oh, how many soldiers do they have? That's not the enemy's strength. Right? I mean, he could have a, a million soldiers who are all peasants who've never fought before and don't know anything. It doesn't mean much. Right? Then there are such armies, but unless they're really motivated and they're fighting for something they believe in, if you conscripted and drafted them and forced them into fighting and they don't want to be there, that's a very unhelpful, very unuseful enemy. Hmm. Not enemy, I mean a soldier or troop. Hmm. So I have to get some water there. I didn't put my video on when it dropped the connection, and then it does put the video on automatically. All right, so the enemy's strength is attitude and seeing how disciplined they are. Do they move like veterans? Are they new? Are they recruits? You can see this, and this is something that's not just a skill, an advanced skill. Anybody who's been in the military will will be able to tell you right away. You can spot newbies and veterans. Just the way they carry themselves, the way they move, everything. You can see it's a clear, noticeable difference, right? And then there's veterans that have been around for a long time, and simply they've been in the military for a while, and then you got combat veterans. A very big difference. Their attitude, the way they move. Even if I'm looking at your army from a distance, I'm going to see what you're comprised of. Yes, I can see just by the way you move, way you do things. And it's very hard for a combat veteran to disguise this, to appear to be a noob. As things are so innate, it's in their attitude, in their body language. I don't know if this would even be possible for them to do this. Right? So you can learn a lot just from paying attention. Perception and sight are the two methods of seeing. Yes, to perceive and to see two different things. Perception consists of concentrating strongly on the enemy's spirit, observing the condition of the battlefield, fixing the gaze strongly, seeing the progress of the fight and the changes of advantage. This is a sure way to win. Again, Musashi has this tendency to go into specifics. Look at the overall. What are you looking to perceive? You're looking to perceive where they are at rather than seeing specific things. You're looking to perceive their intent. You're looking to perceive their skill level. You're looking to perceive their experience level. Right? Skill level and experience level, two different things. You may have an army that's very well trained, that has a high skill level, but they've never seen combat. You may have an army that's been in combat many times, but wasn't particularly well trained. Their skills may be a bit rough, but they've been in combat. Of the two, combat experience will trump skills, because you can have all the skills in the world, but the stress of combat that first time, it's so overwhelming, it's so discombobulating, you forget what the heck you're doing, right? And you can easily be overcome by somebody who keeps calm, who keeps their head, who doesn't lose it, who doesn't get tunnel vision, etc. Right? And now I'm saying this how does this apply in modern things? Right? The business meetings. If you're not in corporate, I keep using business meetings as kind of an analogy or the modern equivalent of being in a battle. Sadly, it sometimes is. So much stress in the typical business meeting. You would think we're just meeting. A meeting is you discuss things and you come to a conclusion. No, meetings often in corporate situation or battlefields. People are jockeying and competing. They're looking to shine. They're looking to say, look how wonderful my idea is. Look how wonderful I am. I want that promotion. Look how terrible he is. Don't give him the promotion, etc., etc. It's more out there. Now, of course, we can change that. Moreness-Culture, collaborative culture. If I'm looking to collaborate, my intent is not to be better than you, push you down, pull myself up, all this stuff. No, my intent is to say, how would I collaborate with you? How do I connect with you? How do we work together? Different mindset. It's so much less stressful. It's not only less stressful, but fun and enjoyable. But when we're looking at this perception and sight, don't look for specific things. Look for the abstract concepts. This is what perception is. Perception is seeing the abstract. Yes, it is seeing things like skill, like attitude, motivation, experience, abstracts, right? Not necessarily looking at particulars. Like the battlefield, this is a particular. Are they on wet, soggy ground, and you on nice, firm ground? You have an advantage, whatever, right? Shifting sand, whatever, right? Many different things, but that's specific. It's not abstract. What you want to look at in the abstract when you perceive the battleground is to see from an abstract point of view, is this a battleground that favors them or me? That's what's important. Right? How can I use it? That's the abstract. Yeah. This is the sure way to win. Perceive, perceive, perceive. Not just see, perceive. Look at more. Awareness, discernment, understanding. Right? This is Moreness-Culture perception. In single combat, you must not fix the eyes on details. Same thing here. As I said before, if you fix your eyes on details and neglect important things, the spirit will become bewildered and victory will escape you. Research this principle well and train diligently. Yes, if you're paying attention to the hands, you're going to forget the feet. But the feet, or not notice them. You're going to get tunnel vision and you're going to lose contextual awareness. Right? Maintain contextual awareness at all times. Now, the reason why that fixedness on the hands or the eyes, the face or the feet in sword fighting is because of fear. You want something simple. Right? It's hard to have an abstract understanding to, I'm going to look at everything. But then I might not notice something. You have to have that trust. Trust that you will. Without trust, forget it. And trust isn't going to happen without impeccability. So if you really want to develop this as a sword fighter, first comes impeccability. Then comes your trust. Because once you're impeccable, then you know how to trust, right? Because you've done everything that gives rise to the ability to trust, capital trust. It is an incredible skill. Now, I'm in my sword fight. I'm there, I'm waiting. My awareness is everywhere. I'm not looking at anything in particular. I'm not even just aware of you. I'm aware of my surroundings. I'm hearing what's behind me. I'm sensing, feeling what's behind me. I'm feeling the air. The universe is involved, and you live in attunement. I'm paying attention to anomalies. Oh my goodness, wow, you're talking about all the stuff that Musashi never even mentioned. Yes, I know. There's more to it. There's more to it, right? You can go further. Yeah, go all the way to the end. Go all the way to the end. Yes, sophistication has many levels. So I'm taking what Musashi says and going further. Why? Because this is way of impeccability. It goes further. It goes as far as one can go in most things. Yes, hopefully there's more, but so far that's as far as we know to go. Right? Go to the end. When you're living in attunement, there's nowhere more to go than that. Right? Very, very powerful stuff. Using the feet in other schools. Can you
Okay,
read
I
that,
can read,
Beena?
Syl. Yes.
Please, 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 please. I need to make some coffee while you read here. I don't know why.
Okay.
I'm just struggling a little bit for some peculiar reason.
And,
Uh,
and, and we
I'm,
are hearing notification bell from your phone continuously. You're getting a lot of notification on your phone. It's quite
I have
interesting.
no idea what this notification is, by the way. I hear that sound and I don't, what is it? What is it? I look to see what that sound is. I can't figure it out. All right, so I turned off the volume and tell me if
Okay.
you hear
Any.
it again. I'm
Okay.
surprised you're hearing it because it seems that my audio I'm using the.
Again.
Let me just.
Just right now again.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I have to put the phone somewhere else.
Okay. Anyway.
Yes,
Use of the
because
feet in a.
hang on, Bina, one second, one second, one second. Let me change this here because you were hearing the microphone the way around. So I was hearing you on the headset using the mic on the camera, but now I switched to the camera's mic and the speakers.
Norma, if you are hearing that notification sound, please do tell us.
Yeah, yeah. No, no. I'm surprised because it's like this. I, I don't know. Who knows? It doesn't have the filtering. Anyway, doesn't matter. I can hear you on now, and you shouldn't hear that sound again. And please,
Okay.
if anybody can tell me what that sound is, on my phone is a NUU phone. What it is, I don't know. But anyway.
Okay. Use of the feet in other schools. There are various methods of using the feet: floating foot, jumping foot, springing foot, trading foot, crow's foot, and such nimble walking methods. From the point of view of my strategy, these are all unsatisfactory. I dislike floating foot because the feet always tend to float during the fight. The way must be trod firmly. Neither do I like jumping foot because it encourages the habit of jumping and a jumpy spirit. However much you jump, there is no real justification for it. So jumping is bad. Springing foot causes a springing is spirit which is indecisive. Trading foot is a waiting method, and I especially dislike it. Apart from these, there are various fast walking methods such as crossfoot and so on. Sometimes, however, you may encounter the enemy on marshland, swampy ground, river, valleys, stony ground, or narrow roads, in which situations you cannot jump or move the feet quickly. In my strategy, the footwork does not change. I always walk as I usually do in the street. You must never lose control of your feet. According to the enemy's rhythm, move fast or slowly, adjusting your body, not too much and not too little.
Hmm. Something very interesting here.
Okay.
Right, read the rest of this and then I'll comment.
Yes. Carrying the feet is important also in large scale strategy. This is because if you attack quickly and thoughtlessly without knowing the enemy's spirit, your rhythm will become deranged and you will not be able to win. Or if you advance too slowly, you will not be able to take advantage of the enemy's disorder. The opportunity to win will escape. and you will not be able to finish the fight quickly. You must win by seizing upon the enemy's disorder and derangement, okay, and by not according him even a little hope of recovery. Practice this well.
Yeah. Hi.
It's a very absolute way of saying things that I
Yeah.
dislike this, I dislike
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
other than that, I do agree with him that okay, most of the time you see that, especially in this sword fencing, that they are too much consumed in the movement projection. Like okay, oh this has to be this. Like they are dancing actually, not fighting, so it's too much into action, and sometimes I was assuming it's because of vanity, but now I understand that it is because this is how they are trained. So it has to be natural. The fight is not going to be as predicted, so you can perform your dance movements accordingly. So even though it is very absolute the way he's saying that, I do agree with him that okay, this is not the way it has to be appropriate. Again, not a
Wow.
fixed rule there. Okay, so you were saying so.
Wow. We're still on this other schools, right? Speed. Now,
Yeah.
he's talking about footwork here. But let's abstract and zoom out. Why do these schools have this focus on a specific thing? The plodding feet, this feet, whatever. What did he call them? I wasn't reading, so
Yes.
I remember. Right? All the different types of feet, springing feet, treading foot. Why? Why do those come about? Let's think. Let's go into the situation and think of it in specific detail. I always find this very useful. Not detail in the way they mean it. I mean it more in the abstract understanding of it. Right? Let's recreate the situation and get there to see what would be happening at the time. How would a school come about? Some guy has an idea. I'm going to make a school. And if your thinking is of a particular kind of thinking, a particular type of thinking, particularly if you is someone who is, well, let's just say, not too scrupulous, a bit of an egomaniac, a bit of a BMN, you're doing the school not because you really have a love for this. No, you're doing it because it will give you some status and it's an easy way to make money, etc. Right? Um, and it makes you very important, etc., etc. Now, when you look at it from this point of view, what else is going on? Such an individual might be doing the school because, well, they want the status, but in order to get the status, they have to have a thing. They have to have some advantage, something that makes them special as opposed to other schools. And this is where these ideas come from, this plodding foot and treading foot. It's just an idea that they have. Oh, this works. And then they have some reason and logic and they explain it. And it sounds all wonderful if you're not a very deep thinker. And then people follow, oh, he's got this cool thing and this is going to make us superior. This is going to make us win. In other words, the whole point of it is that it gives you a specific advantage. You see what I'm saying, Beena? Makes
Yes.
sense,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
All of
Absolutely.
these styles, it's a particular specific detail that they believe is superior to the others. It's pure superiority mindset logic, right? You find something that is makes you superior. Yes, to put your focus on the eyes, it's superior. And then I'll have a long, big explanation as to why putting your eyes on the hands is superior to putting the eyes on the face. And boy, when you start to get into the stuff, it's like conspiracy theories. It's that same kind of a logic, right? I mean, there's some legitimacy to it, but of course it's bubbleness and they lose the context and it all sounds great, but when you actually do it, like Musashi says, it's going to lose your overall awareness. But they don't care about that. It is about the impression, the idea of being superior. Furthermore, they can't deal with complexity. They're not abstract thinkers. They have this mindset of literalness. I need to know the specific way of doing this. Don't tell me the abstract because I need to know the exact detail. I don't want to think abstract. That's difficult. That's complicated. It isn't really, but they believe so. So nonetheless, they want these precise things because when you can give a precise answer, you satisfy somebody who hasn't learned the whole. Because when you give somebody who's you teaching them the whole, And you say, well, here's one precise thing. They say, yeah, okay, this is good, but it's only one little thing. It doesn't really help me in the overall. Exactly. You have to learn everything. And that takes time, takes energy, takes effort. They don't want to take that time and energy and effort. They don't want to face the awful truth that if you only learn this one specific thing and you try to be overall, you are woefully unprepared, which is, of course, what happens to those schools. They are woefully unprepared, yes, which is why if you, it may not come through here, but I suspect in the Japanese, when he says, I don't like this, there's some measure of derision involved when he talks about other schools, yes. Because from other sources, he was very derisive about um, schools that were full of nonsense. And not just him, but it's a common policy and practice. But he was derisive of everybody. They were all fools according to him. And it's one of the reasons Musashi is so powerful today, because he could back up what he had to say. He defeated all of these people from all these different schools. Handily.
Exactly. Exactly. He proved it
Yeah.
that, okay, whatever he was saying. And then basically, what I see that as an abstract takeaway, he's talking about, he's trying to share that, okay, it has to be appropriate, not in
Yeah.
that fancy overall things and all that, like, okay, oh, you have to do this movement and this movement. He says that real time battle is not like that. You cannot be performing all these things because you don't know that, okay, what the other person is going to say that. So there comes the way of impeccability's concept in the Moreness-Project concept of appropriateness philosophy right there. It has to be appropriate. Nothing else is going to work other than appropriateness.
Yeah.
Okay, so are we going to end this here today?
Let's see. Yeah. Oh no. Okay. Well, look, this last subsection, we get to the end
Oh,
of this whole book.
okay,
Wow.
okay,
All right, go ahead, please, Beena.
okay. The speed in other school. The speed is not part of the true way of a strategy. Speed, speed implies that things seem fast or slow. Speed
Wow, wow,
implies
wow, wow,
that things
wow.
seem.
Sorry, Beena.
Yes,
Speed implies that things seem fast or slow.
that's why I was reading it again. Wow.
That's our capital R reading. See, pay attention.
Yes,
Seem fast or slow. Now he's getting into physics here. Yeah?
yes, yes. Speed
Relativity.
implies that things seem fast or slow, according to whether or not they are in the rhythm. Uh, According to whether or not they are in rhythm, whatever the way, the master of a strategy does not appear fast. Wow. Speed implies that things seem fast or slow, according to whether or not they are in rhythm. Whatever the way, the master of a strategy does not appear fast. Some people can walk as fast as 120 miles in a day, but this does not mean they run continuously from morning till night. Unpracticed runners may seem to have been running all day, but their performance is poor. In the way of dance, accomplished performers can sing while dancing, but when beginners try this, they slow down and their spirit becomes busy. The old pine tree melody beaten on a leather drum is tranquil. But when people can manage a fast rhythm, but it is bad to beat hurriedly. If you try to beat too quickly, you will get out of time. Of course, slowness is bad. Really skillful people never get out of time and are always deliberate and never, wow, and are always
Ah,
deliberate.
always deliberate. Yes, Musashi. But not only in
And
sword fighting, in life. Take it more. Go beyond, Musashi. Go beyond.
and never appear busy. From this example, the principle can be seen. What is known as speed is especially bad in the way of strategy. The reason for this is that depending on the place, marsh or swamp and so on, and it may not be possible to move the body and legs together quickly. Still, less will you be able to cut quickly. If you have a long sword, katana, in this situation, if you try to cut quickly, as if using a fan or a short sword, what is the name of short sword?
Wakizashi.
Wakizashi. Okay, wakizashi. As if you're using a fan or wakizashi, you will not actually cut even a
Wonderful.
little. You must appreciate this.
Wonderful, Beena. Wonderful.
I really want you to go into detail on this chapter tomorrow. Really,
Yeah. Yeah.
it has so many things. Very interesting.
Mm.
In larger scale strategy, also a fast, busy spirit is undesirable. The spirit must be that of holding down a pillow. Then you will not be even a little late. When your opponent is hurrying recklessly, you must act contrarily and keep calm. You must not be influenced by the opponent. Train diligently to attain this spirit.
Say that again, Beena.
When your opponent is hurrying recklessly, you must act contrarily and keep calm. You must not be influenced by the opponent. Train diligently to attain this spirit.
Ah. Do I need to scroll?
No, it is. I'm
Oh,
just saying that. Okay, this last paragraph was so loaded. I really want to go into detail, but we are getting out of time, so I
oh,
want
we're all
to
right for time.
go through that again because now he's talking about deliberate also. Now he's talking about the it seemed fast and quick,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
so profound.
All right. I think that all can be easily understood if we take speed and understand it for like fast and replace hurried with fast.
Okay. Okay, I will go through that again for myself, and we're going to continue now. Okay. It was not for understanding, but it was just going into detail. Anyway,
Right. Right. Well,
interior
but
and
I mean that
surface.
that that helps, right? When you understand there's being quick and there's being hurried, and then there's
I
doing
know.
things with alacrity.
Yes, yes.
You are
Okay.
hurried. If you are hurried, your time, you're so fussed and bothered that you're trying to go quick, but you end up actually going slow, right?
Okay.
See, that's what I mean
Interior.
by seeming.
Yes.
Yeah. Or at least what
Can I
Musashi
continue now?
means.
Okay.
Yeah,
Interior
continue.
and surface in other schools. There is no interior nor surface in strategy. The artistic accomplishments usually claim inner meaning and secret tradition and interior and gay. But in combat, there is no such thing as fighting on the surface or cutting with the interior. When I teach my way, I first teach by training in techniques which are easy for the pupil to understand. A doctrine which is easy to understand, I gradually endeavor to explain the deep principle points which it is hardly possible to comprehend. According to the pupil's progress in any event, because the way to understanding is through experience. I do not speak of interior and gate. In this world, if you go into the mountains and decide to go deeper and yet deeper, instead you will emerge at the gate. Whatever the way, it has an interior, and it is sometimes a good thing to point out the gate. In a strategy, we cannot say what is concealed and what is revealed. Accordingly, I dislike passing on my way through written pledges and regulations. Perceiving the ability of my pupils, I teach the direct way, remove the bad influence of other schools, and gradually introduce them to the true way of the warrior. The method of teaching my strategy, in which a trustworthy spirit you must train diligently. Okay, Norma is making comments, sir, so please do pay
Oh,
attention to this. Okay, I have tried to record an outline mm, of the strategy of other schools in the above 9 sections. I could now continue by giving a specific account of these schools one by one, from the gate to the interior, but I have intentionally not named the school or their main points. The reason for this is that different branches of schools give different interpretations of the doctrine in as much. Okay. Oh, I need to scroll.
well, other mouse, not that one. Norma's no, love your comments, Norma. Love your comments. Norma said, same mentally as well as physically. But mountains are higher. Yes, Norma. No, always we love your comments, Norma. We miss your comments too. Please continue, Beena. I did scroll, Beena. It may not have updated for you yet. Takes a moment sometimes. Oh, Beena just dropped there. All right. All right. I shall be back in a second. Just about to finish my coffee. Yeah. Well, finish making it, not finish having it. All right. Where are we? Okay. Let's read this last section. Yeah. Um, The reason for this is that different branches of schools give different interpretations of the doctrines, inasmuch as men's opinions differ, so there must be different ideas on the same matter. There is no one man's conception, thus, no one man's conception is valid for any school. That's why we want to go out of this detailed thinking. We want to get into the abstract. Then, once you're in the abstract and you're coming at things from an overall point of view, you start to put them all together. When you have a oneness, that's very powerful. Now, please don't be sorry, Beena, Norma. I have shown the general tendencies of other schools on 9 points. If we look at them from an honest viewpoint, we will see that people always tend to like katanas or wakazashis and become concerned with strength in both large and small matters. You can see why I do not deal with the gates of other schools, right? Because they're limited. They're only dealing with a particularity that makes them special. They are not looking at the overall appropriateness. In my Ichi school of the katana, there is neither gate nor interior. There is no inner meaning in sword attitudes. You must simply keep your spirit true to realize the virtue of strategy. Right? End of book 3, the wind book. Also, when you are looking at these things, he's not saying it here very clearly, but when you look at the intent of the people running the school, you'll see that for the most part, they're clueless. They're numbskulls. They don't know what they're doing. They're in it for ego and superiority and status. They sound wonderful, but when you are actually honest and you start to apply this, come on, man, this is a load of BS. Right? That's the time to leave. Unfortunately, you're going to go to school after school after school after school, and it's all the same. Yeah. Musashi was a rarity. For centuries, these schools had been going, saying the same nonsense. Yeah. And they still continue today. It's the way of the world, unfortunately. Just because they're all nonsense doesn't mean that you need to go to them. No. Then learn for yourself if there's nobody who has sensibility to learn from. If there's no Musashi available, be your own Musashi. Yeah. Does that make sense, Norma? I'll talk a little bit about speed. I think Beena comes back because she was interested in this. We understand that speed is a perception, right? You know when you are hurried and when you're rushing, how that's not ideal. Yes, yeah. No, you can do things quickly, but don't rush. Don't be hurried. Do things quickly. It's a difference. Doing things with alacrity, once again. Alacrity requires competence, requires skill, requires practice, requires expertise. Yes. Now, if you watch really, take somebody in the kitchen, you watch those professional chefs, well, they can work with alacrity. But when you see the new chefs that aren't new, man, they can't quite do it. They can't move the things because they don't have the practice. They don't have the skill. Plus, they are thinking item by item. They're not thinking the overall. That alacrity comes from thinking over the overallness, keeping it all in mind. Yes, I need to put this pan on the stove. Okay, it's going to cook for 2 minutes, and then the sauce is heating while I fry the fish. And now, okay, you don't even think. You just reach for that pan after 2 minutes and take it off. Right? This is expertise. This is expertise. But they can move very fast because they are compressing time, and also they are fitting things in a slot as appropriate, right? And their actions are physically faster because they're in a higher state of attitude, state of being, state of mind, a mood and mindset, right? They have a slowness in your mind when you're acting with alacrity. Like I said, when you perceive time slower, your body speeds up to compensate. It's quite interesting to give that balance. Otherwise, you'll mess with the time-space continuum and you'll cause all sorts of disruptions if you literally slow down time, right? No, it's just a perception, relative. And this whole point of speed is you may think you're going quickly, but what you're really doing is you're thinking quickly of a lot of things. Oh, I must do this, I must do that. No. Thought slows down action. If you have to think, oh, there's a punch coming at me, or I better get out of the way, by the time you thought that thought, you've been punched already. Perceive, you have to connect perception directly to action. Oh, it's coming at me in this way. I've already trained. I know what to do, and I do it. You have to also see that punch is what comes after this, what comes next, right? So that you don't get maneuvered by reacting to punches, right? You don't even want to be reacting. You want to see the intent to punch and punch before it is even punched. Yeah. So speed is very much related to perception, yeah? And your inner state of being. The most important point here is to have true speed. You need to be able to act without thinking. Yeah? Doesn't mean thoughtless act. No. You've already trained. You already know it. It's innate. You don't need to have a specific thought. The perception of the circumstance leads to the action. You're not reacting. You pre-acting. You preemptive. You initiating. You, in Musashi's words, attacking. But you're initiating. You're taking the initiative. But you're doing so really, really directly, immediately, and with great alacrity. Why? Because you don't need to think. Well, when mothers react to save their children, they don't think. They need to think sometimes. This is not, you need